Victory's cross-country and crossroads touring motorcycles were released in Australia and New Zealand in 2010 at the Coolum Resort on the Sunshine Coast. That launch event was the first and last time I had ridden one of the other American touring baggers until I got my mitts on the Brisbane dealership's demo model and spent a fortnight reacquainting myself with the machine. A 2015 cross-country finished in gloss titanium metallic paint to be exact. When I returned it, the crew at the Fortitude Valley store threw me the keys to their Ness Magnum demo for comparison's sake, and I spent a week having a completely fat time on that unit too. First, the cross-country. I recalled that the bike impressed at the launch, and not throwing a leg over one for almost 5 years seemed a bit remiss. It was even more so after cruising and touring away my stint with the latest incarnation. About 3 days into the test, I was delving deep into the bag of superlatives to describe how I was relating to the current model. I came up with magnificent. I thought this to be a magnificent motorcycle. It has a lot to like, I mean a lot. The road holding and open road manners, stability, cornering clearance, suspension and comfort levels are amongst the best in class.
Clearance really is lovely. On a bagger like this, to be able to just chuck it into the corners without any fear of that big scritching sound really is pleasant.
The engine is torquey and very smooth for a big V-twin, and it is very pleasing to operate. The appearance and the bike's grey and black aesthetic appealed to me greatly too. To the standard test bike was fitted Victory's Stage 1 oval exhausts that sounded great without being over the top. Some lower wind deflectors had been fitted to the handlebar mounted fairing and a passenger backrest installed. A clockwork screen was also fitted. It should put the average height rider well within the bubble, and there are taller touring screen options available too. Weighing in around the middle of the semi-dressed pack at 345 kilograms dry, the cross-country doesn't feel as nimble or chuckable as some of the other baggers out there. It compensates with exceptional open road and freeway cornering stability, cornering clearance, and the way the 106 cube engine pulls the unit along. The engine is the now very familiar 101mm by 108mm bore, 50 degree 4-valve V-twin displacing 106 cubic inches or 1731 cc's. It has the low-cost serviceability of a motor with self-adjusting lifters, i.e. no shims, and the character of a modern Big V. The Victory gearbox usually takes me a few days to get the mojo. Needs a definite change, and you can't be as lazy with the clutch work as on some other baggers, metric or imperial. Second to third shifts particularly, but when you do get its rhythm, it becomes quite reliable. The gear primary and belt final drive are slot free, and it makes for a bike with very good feel and feedback at the throttle hand. That directness for sports touring riding is where the bike really shines. The front upside down forks are 43mm diameter with 150mm of travel available, and the rear single monotube is air adjustable with 120mm of travel. They are excellent suspenders. They soaked up the roughest of the hinterland backroads without throwing the bike offline or giving any hint of vagueness, whilst remaining exceptionally comfortable with no sign of bottoming, even two up. For a big unit, it is very rewarding on a twisty road. Lean angles are very good, and it tips over pleasingly before the large footboards touch down, on very sensible hero blobs hanging beneath them. The footboards are only one aspect of the bike's enormous comfort levels too. The pullback handlebars combined with a 667mm saddle height that will be short inseam friendly, without compromising the bike's comfort for us big guys. I found the bike to be very roomy, even with the co-pilot on back. She rated the passenger accommodation as excellent, as comfortable as any of the baggers with the top box type thrones, after one of those Sunday afternoon rides around southeast Queensland we wished we could frame. It's also one of those bikes where it virtually makes no difference if you are carrying a passenger or not, as long as the air adjustable rear preload is correctly dialed in. The dual 300mm ABS 4-piston equipped stoppers up front and 2-piston rear did a pretty good job hauling that 345 kilograms up, plus passenger, plus cameras. They needed a little more pressure at the lever than the other baggers I've tested lately, but in reality all have had good brakes for years. It's just a matter of whether they need one finger or two on the lever. The Cross generally needed two. Fitted with the optional taller screen, the Cross Country would also make an excellent hardcore tourer. The luggage and carrying capacity are excellent. The saddle is all day good. The riding position is as good as it gets for distance work, and the way the bike performs makes the time between stops highly enjoyable. Those big footboards afford a number of different leg positions that really do add to long distance comfort, and the heel shifter that usually gets in the way of my size 12s is thankfully an optional extra. My only gripes with the bike were minor. The stereo isn't quite as good as other units on the market, and its connectivity is via an old school type iPod phone connector hardwired into the right hand pannier, albeit with a handy carry pouch. But enter the Magnum, the wheel deal. If rocking a soundtrack as you roll away the distance is higher on your list of bike attributes, then the Magnum is the one. The 100-watt fairing mounted sound system is viable at most speeds, and it sounds great. It's also very easy to connect via Bluetooth from the phone or device that stays securely in your jacket pocket. The other important differences are the front wheel and the saddle height, and of course the aesthetic and presentation. The paintwork on both bikes is good. The Ness treatment is Ness unique. The front wheel on the Magnum is also a more fashionable 21-inch, and it does have some effect on the handling of the bike. It's not major, but the bigger hoop requires slightly more encouragement to begin a turn, a little more weight shifted. But once the manoeuvre has begun, the same rock-solid stability and comfort as the 18-inch cross-country wheel ensues. Side-to-sides are still rewarding. They just require a bit more rider input. On the plus side, the Magnum feels a little taller at the handlebars, and when combined with the 25mm lower sculpted saddle height, it feels like you are lower inside the bubble afforded by the bodywork. I got noticeably less buffeting from the same windscreen fitted to both bikes. The slope of the rear passenger seat as it follows the contour of the back guard means the backrest for your passenger is more of a necessity than a luxury too. But then it's the matter of the style. Particularly with the Ness paint scheme and presentation, the Magnum has more of that urban guerrilla thing going on. It too was fitted with Victory's oval exhausts and sports a lot more chrome than the Cross Country's mostly blacked out presentation on the engine bars and accessories. The Magnum scores highly in boulevard cred. Either way, I found both bikes desirable. The Cross Country would be the choice if distance touring is your staple fare. The Magnum tours well too, but has a better concession to cruiser and boulevard duties. In the end, both are well-sorted modern baggers that do their intended assignments very well. Hopefully, it won't be 5 years until I blag another ride.